Yeah, name's Jamie Culver. I live in Port Stephens, New South Wales. I'm a social worker for the youth health team in Newcastle, which is a health team looking at working with young people who are homeless or at risk of homelessness. Yeah, so Port Stephens, it's a beautiful part of the world. It's a unique fishery. It's really a fishing mecca. It's from the mangroves and the upper estuaries all the way to the continental shelf. There's something for everyone. It's got 16 islands, like both in the estuary and offshore. And it's probably rightfully called the Port of Gold for its game fishery. We've got a unique part of the continental shelf here in Port Stephens, and I think anyone that's fished for Marlin would probably be aware of the car park. Anyone that's fished in Australia, I think. And it's a unique part of the continental shelf where the water eddies up and the bait holds up. And when that happens, and in summer, the marlin aren't far behind. Yeah, marlin, they get you going. I mean, you're sitting there on the back of the deck and it's 95% sometimes, you know, really quiet and time ticking away, and then it's 5% mayhem. And you know, I always thought a blue marlin would be blue, but when they come in red hot, they're just dark black, and they're just, you know, they're really angry, and they just hit these lures, and you can't even get words out of your mouth before all of a sudden this fish is overtaking your boat, and it's just chaos. And I don't know, it's just something about that just, when it's on, it's just unreal. Yeah, we had a good friend Tom. He flies helicopters out of Newcastle with his company Aero Logistics, and it all came together with weather. The weather window came, and we had the captain on my six and came in pretty close. I didn't know helicopters could get down that low, to be honest. We pulled out near the Sisters there. It's a known reef, and had a quick stick bait looking for a kingfish or two. Probably a bit early, but never know the luck. So yeah, we covered the coastline. We probably did a round trip of near probably 100 k's, and we pulled back into Trusty Broughton Island, and of course she turned it on for us, and we managed to get the one fish. Well, Regan got the one fish. We'll give him the credit. But it was great just to get a fish in the boat and to show you guys, you know, Port Stephens and the beautiful fish that are here. The snapper tend to like a slow wafting soft plastic drifting down, and there's not a lot to it really with snapper. It's really just the plastic floating down to the sea floor, and the fish will see it and come up and grab it. I think once you get to the sea floor, it's kind of over. You're either going to get the fish that you don't want, or you're going to get snagged. So it's just all about the drifting down with soft plastics. Yesterday we run a fairly light jig head, so we'll fish in over waters from anywhere from 8 metres of depth out to kind of 40, and you just have to adjust perhaps from a 1.6 up to a 3.8. Yeah, so it was a really slippery slope buying a Stabi. I first of all was set on the 2100, walked around the 2250 walk around, and it was the sports cab that was there. And I remember talking to the guys there at Stabi, and they said if you like the look of the forward-raking windscreen, then you're going to get a lot more benefit from it. There's 33% more cabin room, and when I started to walk around it, I thought I actually quite liked the forward-raking screen. It's not for everyone, definitely get that feedback a lot, but for me it's everything, and it's a really heavy boat. It's 1.8 tonne dry hull weight, so in regards to plate boats, it's getting right up there with some of the glass boats. So, and just in comparing it to other Stabis, it's almost the weight of two 2100 super cabs, but there's a lot of boat in the 2250. And I think that really helps with its ride. It's really hard to describe. I think you have to be in a Stabi to really understand what they ride like. They kind of suck to the water, and in a following sea, you don't get the roll or the pitch. The pontoons seem to ride itself. And then when you come off the back of a wave, or I know yesterday around the island we had the prop out of the water at one point, you tend to brace yourself for this big, hard crash, and it never comes. So I think the Stabi really offers the benefits of ride that, or close to what a glass boat could, whilst being that rugged, tough fishing boat as well. Well, the rocket launcher is ridiculous. It holds 11 rods up top, and you can actually fit 11 50 wide Tiagras up the top, and they won't touch each other. I don't know why you'd want 11 50 wide Tiagras on a trip, but if you do, it'll do it. But I think that is good, because when we go fishing like we did yesterday, you can really shoot out off the coast and just do what you want. You don't have to really prep your trip. You can take the day as it comes. So you might be out fishing for snapper, stick baiting for kings, deep dropping for cod, and then trolling home for whatever. And you don't have to compromise on your trip. And when you're fishing Port Stephens, you want to have a lot of gear with you. The engine's a 300 Yamaha, and with the 2250 you don't really get a lot more top end speed with the 300, But for me, I really wanted to hold the performance of the boat whilst heavier load. So if we've got a heap of gear in there, 4 blokes, and we're fishing and we've got ice and fish and everything, camping gear if we're going up the islands or doing something, you really just want to have that there. So for me, I've gone with the Simrad Evo 316. I do like having 2 screens, but the 116 really fits out that dash on the Stabi really well. And because it is so big, you can run the split and you really don't have to have the compromise. I've gone with the TN275 transducer, and that's a really great mix for fishing both inshore and offshore sports fishing. And I've paired it with the S5100 Sonar module, which I think is a real must these days for game fishermen. And it just really allows you to have control of your water column. So, you know, you can fish a low and a high chirp, and if you didn't have the S51, if you changed your range, you would obviously lose that on both. So this allows you to, say, for instance, at the car park, run a low chirp and keep your eye on the bigger picture of what's happening, you know, the bait and the fish on it. And then when you move towards the high chirp, you can change the range and just focus if you're raising a marlin. So if you've got a fish under the boat in that 60 metres of water, you can see that quite clearly, and then keep an eye on the bigger picture down low. Safety and confidence has always been a big thing for me, hence the Stabi. And that's really what some of the Simrad gear's offered me as well. So the radar's fantastic. I think we all have a story of a close call, or like me, hitting certain marker buoys at night coming out of the estuary. And I think it just gives you those extra set of eyes. So for safety, it's a big thing, but also it's really a must when you're fishing offshore, and it's such a big ocean out there. If you can really narrow down, say, find birds working over souries, you can find you know, other boats or working an area, you can really hone in on the fishing. And if it can cut down on fuel, time, and get you a better fishing result, then it's just a must-have.